Welcome to Menopause Moguls podcast, the Elevation Talk series with yours truly, Dr. Joyelle. I am Dr. Joyelle, the Menopause Mogul, board certified OBGYN and business coach for Black women 40 and over. And my mission is to educate, embolden, and empower Black women and other women of color in their journey through health and careers. This is a space for Black women and other women of color to share their compelling trials and tribulations in their health and or in their careers and businesses. This is where we recognize the humanity of Black women and show how Black women continue to elevate despite midlife challenges and changes.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Menopause Moguls. So today's episode, I was just in my Facebook group. If you're not in my Facebook group, join the Facebook group because I do lives in there. You can also ask me questions live if you have questions about menopause and building a business while navigating through menopausal changes. But today I wanted to hop in here to do this episode called What the Heel is Going On. What the heel is going on. Yes, heel, H-E-E-L. So the subtitle is Baby Steps in Building a Business in These Midlife Streets. So yeah, let me tell you. I mentioned a couple of episodes back that I've developed new symptoms that can be associated with that are associated with menopause. If you have followed my journey, you know, my perimenopause started with vicious night sweats, mood irritability, acne, fatigue, brain fog, all the fun things. And I pretty much resolved all of them. Then I got COVID and new things are happening. Obviously, I've gotten older because I started perimenopause, essentially started 39, had a break because I had a baby, and then it started again after at 40 or almost 41. So yeah, there's new things that have come up. I was stepping out of the bed one day and I had excruciating heel pain. Excruciating. I'm like, okay, this is new. What is this? What is this part of long COVID? Like, what is this? There were days where I would be limping to the bathroom because it was so much pain. I had many choice curse words. Getting out of the bed and walking to the bathroom first thing in the morning. And also, you know, negative thoughts at the same time, like, oh my gosh, this damn long COVID again, this aging body, is this what, you know, this part of aging, you know, all the things, and just frustrated with this heel pain that I was having that hurt so bad, right? And of course, you know, as I'm limping to the bed and cursing, my husband's antennas are on 10 because of my whole long COVID journey. So everything, you know, I say, ouch, I say whatever. He's like, hey, you okay? What's happening? What's wrong? So I told him that I was having this heel pain. I'm like, my heel is hurting. It's so much pain. So I described it to him. He was like, oh yeah. And it was mostly my right foot. He was like, oh yeah, it's probably plantar fasciitis. What? So he's an orthopedic surgeon, by the way, right? So I'm like, really? Plantar fasciitis? Why? Okay. So those of you who don't know, plantar fasciitis is basically heel pain. That could be worse in the morning. And it's common in midlife women because of the loss of estrogen. Now, I did not know that part of it. Like, I've heard of plantar fasciitis before, you know, typically older people, but when I learned that it could also be associated with the loss of estrogen, I was like, oh, really? Really? So basically, as we lose estrogen, we also lose, as we're aging and lose estrogen, we also lose collagen. And the collagen helps the elasticity of that band that goes from your heel to your toes. So when you lose that collagen, lose that cushion, that causes plantar fasciitis or pain or inflammation in that area. And other changes, when you lose estrogen, that also goes along with menopause or entering menopause is a change in your weight where you're a little bit heavier than what you're used to. That also changes the impact that it can have on your feet, which can also cause pain. So I'm like, really? Really? As if I needed another thing, right? I'm still dealing with pain, associated with my long COVID. So now this plantar fasciitis, heel pain, I'm just like, I ain't with it. I'm not with it. But I have to tell y'all, this one day, we were sitting in our family room. My husband was like, oh, I got you something. I'm like, oh, really? So my husband, he typically gives me just, gifts. He's a nice husband like that, right? He gives me gifts here and there, whether it's a pair of shoes, a designer bag. So it's not uncommon for him to do, just because, little gift, right? So yeah, I got you something. So he hands me this, this small kind of plastic thing with something black in it. I'm like, oh, okay. What is this? So I open it and I pull this out. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can see. Those of you who are listening, you can't see what I have. I pulled this lovely contraption out, right? Like, what in the world? I was like, what the hell is this? I don't even, what is this? He was like, oh, it'll help you do stretches for your heel. I was like, oh, thank you. Y'all, the gifts are changing as we're aging, right? I went from designer bags to heel stretch concoctions here. So basically, I put my heel in the hole and my foot goes here and then it goes around my ankle here. I strap this around my foot and then I just stretch. I stretch my heel. So I was like, thanks, honey. Thanks for thinking of me. Wasn't that sweet, y'all? Like, again, I'm used to other things, but I was like, he be listening. He be looking out for a girl, looking out for a sister. So I have this lovely special stretch band now that helps me stretch my heel before I get out of the bed, which has helped tremendously, right? So dealing with this heel pain, like I said, initially I was cursing, I was frustrated, it was painful. And I have learned, because of it, I have learned to first stretch before I get out of the bed. Whether I have this, sometimes I forget to put this by my bed. So if I don't have this by my bed, I can just do kind of some small stretches while I'm still laying there. But I do some kind of stretch of my heel before I get out of the bed now, because I had to do that so that I won't have so much pain. And that has helped me tremendously in regards to this heel pain, where I, like I said, stretch before I even get out of the bed. And what also has helped me is changing my attitude around this whole situation. So like I said before, I had very negative thoughts about this whole heel situation, right? Just, oh my God, my body is just, again, blaming long COVID, like this is ridiculous, like I don't need another thing. And I have switched to being more positive, right? And just having a different perspective around this whole situation. And with that, when I do wake up and get out of the bed, I am thanking God that I'm actually able to get up. Because again, I had to go back to my initial long COVID journey or post-COVID, post-COVID symptoms. And I couldn't get out of the bed. There was points where I couldn't get out of the bed, right? So I thank God that I'm actually able to get out of bed. Things that you just take for granted. Thanking him for allowing me to get this body up and moving out of the bed. Like, thank you so much. Instead of cursing my feet every time I walked out of the bed. Like, I would literally be cursing. Like, God damn it. Again. I just hoped initially that it would just magically just go away, but it wasn't. So I had to do some things for it to go away. So like I said, stretching. Also changing my attitude about the whole situation. Changing the way I talk to my body and actually appreciate and show it gratitude. Like, thank you, body, for getting me up out of bed. Thank you, feet, for allowing me to walk. And again, things that I just took for granted. I'm just grateful that I'm able to get up and move. I'm able to walk. I'm able to do that without twitching and jerking like I was when I was going through my whole post-COVID stuff, right? So just being grateful for all of that. Also trying to eat more proteins to help kind of build more collagen. Doing that also in that regards, taking zinc, like doing just different things. So I can also, again, just build collagen, because as we age, even outside of menopause, as we age, we do lose collagen. So we can, build some back up from the things that we eat, like protein and zinc and vitamin C and things like that. So, building that back up also has definitely helped me. So I am, using my special gift from my husband and just doing a lot better these days. And just thinking about all of this, it made me think about the baby steps that we have to take in building a business in these midlife streets, right? When you think about that, going through all the things that I've been through, it certainly has prepared me to do these different things. And listening to my body and doing the things that I need to do so I can do more things, right? Because normally just so used to being on autopilot, where we just get up, get out of bed, do what we have to do. Now I get up and just lay there and stretch my heels before I step out of the bed. And thinking about that, when you are building a business and trying to navigate through menopausal symptoms, trying to navigate through midlife challenges or changes, you first have to build a foundation that is able to withstand all the things, all the challenges and changes that you're going through. I talked about in the previous episodes of, the growing season in menopause, where you really have to build a foundation within yourself that is able to withstand the challenges that you can go through in going through the menopausal transition, going and entering the entrepreneurship. There's so many ups and downs that go along with that. But you're able to withstand that if you develop a good foundation within yourself, where you are taking care of yourself, choosing to pour into yourself, doing the things that you need to do in order for you to show up powerfully in building your business, powerfully in your household, You first have to build that foundation. Then you have to manage your weight, right? And not physical weight, right? Like with going with my whole heel situation, I did realize that after having COVID twice, taking some steroids at a certain point in time to help treat inflammation, I gained some weight. So I also know that also impacted, the heel pain and things like that. And I'm working on that. But I also realized I also had to release other things that are weighing me down. The negative thoughts, the negative self-talk, right? The things that I'm telling myself that is not serving me at all. So I had to release that. I had to manage that weight and actually lose that weight in order for me to do better and feel better. And it's the same thing in building a business. You have to identify things or people that are no longer serving you and remove that from your foundation, remove that from around you, so that you can do the things that you need to do in order to build your business. And most importantly, also do your stretching exercises as you are building a business, doing something so scary. I mean, the idea of doing that in general is a stretch within itself. God is calling you to stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone and do something that you've never done before. So you're already stretching, right? So, but at the same time, you're continuing to stretch. There's always stretching in the process where you do one thing, you get to that point, and then you have to stretch again in order to get to the next level. There's always stretching involved. And not only stretching your mind and the possibilities of what you can do, like you can, move towards a point where you just feel like, your ability or capacity to do things, the opportunities to do things could be limitless, especially if we keep God in front of us, right? God is a limitless God. Like, there's no limits on him. So if we come from that mindset where we can stretch ourselves to that point, expand our minds to think that, what I'm doing in my business, what I'm trying to do in this business, there's so many things that I can do. But I have to be willing to stretch myself in order to do it. Right? Stretch into that uncomfortable space. Stretch as we are going through those uncomfortable challenges. Stretch as we're going through the storms, right? Like, I've done a lot of stretching in this whole long COVID situation. Like, God has stretched me. He continues to stretch me. But that's what he does. We're stretching. That's what he wants to do. He's stretching out to him, like, stretch out to me and I got you. But we have to be okay with the stretching, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's scary. Because it's ultimately activating our faith, right? We're activating our faith where we stretching ourselves to a point where we want to do this big thing. We don't really know how it's going to work out. We don't really know all the steps to it, but we still do it. We are activating our faith, right? We're stretching ourselves to that point where we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. We're stretching our hand out to God and trust him that he will work it out some way. He will work it out some way. I mean, again, going through my long COVID, I had to stop my business. Like, I couldn't do anything, right? And there are points where, like I mentioned in the last episode, I was ready to just throw it all away. Like, I was done. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. But no, I have to, again, stretch out of that comfort zone again and realizing that there is blessings in the stretching. There are blessings in the stretching. But we have to be willing to stretch. We have to decide to stretch. We can't just, I know for me, it was like, it'll just magically happen. It'll just happen. I'll just think it and it'll just happen. And that was not the case. Like, I actually had to do things that was so uncomfortable, that was so scary. But I was able to do those things because I built that relationship within myself, that foundation within myself, to trust myself to do it, right? Learning to know myself in a different season of my life, learning to trust myself again in a new season of my life. I'm continuing to stretch. I'm continuing to stretch. You know, we talk about stretching muscles, and talk about stretching heels, stretching tendons and things in our feet. Like, there's always stretching going on. But it's a process that we do over and over again, that we have to do over and over again in order to keep moving the needle, in order to get to our next level, and our next level, and our next level. Because where you are now, there's another level to you. There's another level to the version of you. There's another level to what God wants you to do. And even though you don't see it right now, even though it doesn't really look clear, it's there. And if you're feeling it in your heart, and you're feeling that you're being called to do that thing, then you have to stretch. You have to stretch. So, of course, going through, I'll always, you know, like I told you, I'll be in my Bible trying to get answers of all the things that I'm going through, right? And I wanted to share, is it Matthew 12, verse 13. And it says, "Then he said to the man, 'Stretch out your hand.' And the man stretched it out, and it was restored, healthy like the other." And that spoke to me, right? Especially as I'm on this healing journey. Like, God's like, stretch out your hand. I will heal you. But you have to stretch it out. You have to seek me. You have to keep me first. You have to stretch. And it is a muscle that I continue to work on continuously, like all the time, working on stretching my, like I said, stretching my mind, stretching my faith throughout all of these transitions in my life. I continue to stretch. But what is in my frontal view is me stretching my hand out to God, so that he can essentially guide me, right? Guide me to where I'm supposed to go next. Guide me to the next step, next baby step of what towards my destiny, essentially. So being okay with taking baby steps as we're building a business is also something that we have to be okay with. I have to learn to be okay with, because I was, a person who wanted to take one step and felt like things will just like be successful overnight type of. No, it doesn't happen that way. Doesn't happen that way. And thinking I had to take like huge steps in order to get to actually building the business, but trying to walk towards that huge step, it just seemed daunting and overwhelming, especially if someone is dealing with internal challenges. So breaking steps down into little baby steps so that we can do that very big thing that we want to do. That's what we have to do. Taking the baby steps, stretching ourselves at the same time, and being okay with taking baby steps toward what God is calling us to do. So that's what I got for y'all today. Now you know plantar fasciitis can be related to menopause. So just so you know that. But at the same time, knowing you can use your 2 feet to step into your greatness. Step into your greatness. All you have to do is put 1 foot out in front of the other. But stretch on the way. Keep stretching on the way. So if you are a woman, a Black woman, you are enough to do anything you are being called to do. Just remember to build the foundation within you and remove all the things that no longer serve you, and stretch yourself out of your comfort zone because you trust yourself. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Take care.